Part 4 of this 8-part series on the Swartberg Pass covers the 5-kilometer section from the Swartberg view site to the summit point. If you intend driving this pass, it's important to first watch the orientation and overview video as well as all the other videos sequentially, as they contain important safety, tourism and historical information. South of the Swartberg view site, the road heads due west as it skirts a side ravine and maintains a fairly level altitude. At the 9.9 kilometer mark, there's a sharp left-hand bend which changes the direction into the south-southeast as a flatter section of the upper plateau is traversed. Soon an intersection is reached at the 10.8 kilometer mark with another gravel road heading away into the west. This is the turn-off to the famous Kloof. It's not recommended to drive this road unless you're well prepared, have sufficient fuel, knowledge and preferably have booked accommodation overnight at the Hell. This road is slow and a lot rougher than the Swartberg Pass. After negotiating another big right-hand bend of 140 degrees at the 10.8 kilometer mark, the buildings of the old toll house and the Swartberg Nature Reserve appear at the next bend. These are used by hikers tackling the Swartberg hiking trail. The road now swings through another big S-bend which brings the heading into the east as the next set of switchbacks begins at the 12.4 kilometer point. Going back into the history of the pass, it was in July 1880 when Parliament finally approved the report, plans, section and estimates for the pass, and things began to move forward. The work was put out to tender under the new system of James Ford, the former Chief Inspector of Public Works. This system was to test whether passes or roads could be built more economically by tender than with convict labour. 8 tenders were received, with the highest being for £63,784 and the lowest was from a Jan Tassie for £18,120 with an 18-month construction period. Tassie initially imported 101 labourers from Delagoa Bay, but their numbers steadily decreased owing to desertions and he had difficulty in recruiting locally. He started construction in October 1881, completing only 5.5 kilometers and receiving only £4,098 before he was declared insolvent in January 1883. And so it was back to basics when by November 1883 Thomas Bain was able to start construction with 200 to 240 convicts, the man in charge on site being John Fitz-Neville. By the end of 1884, the construction from Prince Albert had reached the summit, and 1.5 kilometers of bridle path, 5 feet wide, had been built on the Oudtshoorn side. This section consists of 4 complete hairpin bends. The third hairpin changes the heading into the west as the final pull-up to the 1,575 meter high summit is tackled. Be prepared for cold, blustery conditions at the summit point, and be aware that there's limited parking as well. A sticker plastered sign announces "Die Top." This is not the optimum view site on the pass, and the weather often spoils things as the wind can really howl through the neck, often reaching gale force conditions. It's much better to stop at one of the 3 view sites further down the southern descent. This is also the final spot where you can look at the northern aspect of the pass. The summit point is situated in a natural saddle in the mountain range. From here you'll have expansive views to the south of most of the Klein Karoo with its patchwork of green farmlands, whilst the northern vista is entirely different, displaying much drier mountains with a massive gorge splitting the upper mountain plateau into 2. The moment the road curves through the sharp left-hander at the summit point, huge views of green fields and distant grey mountains open up. It's completely different to what has been on offer for the previous 40 minutes. All along the descent, there are wonderful examples of Thomas Bain's perfectly constructed dry-packed stone walls. The descent is mainly into the east, and other than dozens of bends, corners and curves, this direction is maintained all the way to the valley floor. Maintain a slow and steady speed, and make sure you keep well left on all of the blind corners. The Swartberg Pass is enormously popular with both local and international travellers, as can be attested by the many hire cars that can be seen on the pass 7 days a week. Many of these tourists tend to drift completely onto the wrong side of the road as they take in the grand scenery. On the day of filming we had 2 incidents where we would have had head-on collisions had we been driving any faster. Be sure to watch part 5 of this 8-part series, which covers the middle section of the southern descent.